Token coming to you live from Windora, and I'm here with Trudy Gorringe, Information Officer for Barcoo Shire Council, and we're in the Information Centre here in Windora. How you going, Trudy?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
That's good.
So, Trudy, interested to know what are some of the things to see and do around Windora that you obviously educate people on when they come into town.
Well, we have a lot of visitors, obviously, that come through on their way to other places for major events. But what we do have here is probably pretty phenomenal ecotourism, if you will, if you're a bird watcher, or wildflowers when it was really nice and wet last year. It was great. A lot of
Whereabouts do you see the birds mostly? Is it maybe around Coopers Creek or?
We have a variety of species. We've got obviously the water birds or ones that will nest down at Coopers Creek, but then also out amongst the spinifex or in the sandhills as well. So it's pretty diverse.
I've heard about the sandhills. Whereabouts are they from here? How far are they from here?
They're located just out of town, about 10 kilometres and 12 kilometres on the Diamantina Development Road. So, yeah.
Oh, so back where we came from?
No, back towards Birdsville.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple of Diamantina development
There
roads.
is. Comes through here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And sorry, you were saying something else about what to do as well?
Let me think about it. Which things do you want to do? Well, we've got our events on, obviously. We've got a lot of people that come through just to see those things, and we're getting more and more people that want to come along and see the old style of, let's say, Bronco branding or the Gymkhanas again, or the odd race meeting in the area. What else is there? Fishing.
Yeah.
Fishing, of course,
Yeah.
with the old yellow belly,
Yeah.
which Windora is named after.
Okay.
Place of big fish. There you go.
So that's the traditional name.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
considered the traditional name. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're one of the traditional owners of this land as well?
Yeah, this land's under claim at the moment, but our traditional land would overlap onto here as well. So I'm one of the Mythica people, so with Mac Corporation as well. So yeah.
And how many people make up the Mythica people at the moment?
We actually only have, I think, 62 paying members at the moment. Obviously, they're family members as well, but it's much larger than that. We're probably about 300 people or so.
And is there much education for tourists or even locals around some of the traditional culture?
There's not a lot available at the moment. It's something that we're working with Griffith University with as well, to ensure that we've got accuracy and authenticity, because as you can understand, you lose a lot of that cultural heritage or language over time, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
A bit like Chinese whispers.
it is. It can be. It can certainly be Chinese whispers. Yeah.
So those traditional stories are passed on person to person normally, aren't they?
They are. They generally are. And my father's generation or my grandfather's generation, they didn't so much. It was discouraged. So then it's just trying to find all those little bits and the memories from my uncles and aunts and my father and things like that, and try and put them together.
Oh, that's a bit sad. Was there some kind of cultural reason why that happened? Do you know?
It was generally considered that Aboriginal people shouldn't be speaking their language or observing their cultural heritage in any way, because they needed to assimilate into the white man's world, if you will.
Oh.
Yeah, so yeah. But we've got a lot of interesting things happening with archaeologists and anthropologists at the moment as well, and some excavations being done, different ceremonial sites and what we might call villages, and certainly quarries as well. Yeah.
Great. So is there any of that those artifacts available now, like those that people
Yes.
can see?
We've got a few stones and whatnot here, but they're obviously not the ceremonial stones, so they're kept away pretty well. But being 33,500 square kilometres is the area that we are currently covering, so there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to be found out in all that beautiful landscape with all the properties. So it's really cool. Yeah.
Fantastic. And what about bush tucker? Is there any sort of education done around bush tucker at all?
We're starting to do what we can with that. We've got some great assistance with some anthropologists and geologists especially to do with that, and sort of opened my eyes up as well to think, I can go down to the garden channels now and I know there's a variety of food plants particularly citrus trees and whatnot on the way that I've never known about before. As I
Yeah.
say, we're all learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, Macca and I were having a chat in the car. It was a 14 and a half hour drive, and we were sort of talking about how if we got dropped out here Bear Grylls style, how would we go? And I tended to think I'd go pretty average, you know, like not knowing a lot of bush tucker myself.
Never mind, we'd be both in the same boat, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a possibly an opportunity, and
There could possibly be, you know, particularly to have the knowledge about these specific plants in and around the area. That'd be great. So, yeah.
yeah, survival out here. You know, I think it'd almost be probably an essential course or essential subject.
It would be essential, I think so, on a day-to-day basis, certainly. Oh, yeah.
Thanks very much for your time, Trudy. It's been really great talking to you.
Not a problem.
And so is there a website or something that people can find out about Windora before they come?
Certainly get on to www.barcoo.qld.gov.au and go to their information and events page on that website. So, yeah, or simply just give any one of our information centres a call when we're happy to pass any information on or information packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, keep watching. Plenty more interviews coming to you live from the Outback Queensland. And you can find those on facebook.com/Beach City Life, or you can search on YouTube. Just search for Beach City. Cheers.
Cheers.